Hey guys, I'm Erik Peterson and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for Skill of Attraction. And today's attraction tips video is called She's Lost Interest in Sex? Do This. Now, one of the most frustrating scenarios for men is when their girl has seemingly lost interest in sex. Doesn't matter if it's your girlfriend or wife, it's a real problem for many men. In fact, it's probably much worse for married men since they technically can't go out and get it somewhere else. I mean, they can, but it's risky and morally wrong. But men can only take the lack of sexual activity for so long. Now, a lot of men will try talking to their girl about it, ask her what's wrong, and many ultimately resort to begging for it. And let me tell you this right now, begging for it might get you some sex, but it's being done out of pity, or she's just performing her wifely duties out of obligation. But my point here is that while begging may work a little, it's actually making her less likely to sleep with you, because a begging man is a very unattractive man. It's really the pinnacle of neediness. And as you should all know by now, neediness is probably the biggest turnoff for women. Women do love to be wanted and desired by a man, the right man, but they absolutely despise being needed by a man. It's disgusting to them. Yes, some women will say that they love when their man is needy, but these are either very insecure girls or they only think that they love that because they've never actually had it before. Or they enjoy it initially, but it will eventually turn her off. A lot of the things I tell you guys not to do with women, they do love that level of attention at first, but like I said, it slowly turns them off. It's really only acceptable in the very early stages because everything is new and both people are on a high with that new relationship energy. The problem with that is not only are you setting precedent by behaving that way that she'll expect from you for the entirety of the relationship, but also most men don't know when to stop. So I recommend that you don't do those things at all, no matter what point of the relationship you're in. But this video isn't about being needy, or at least it's not all about being needy. It's about your girl's loss of interest in sex. Even worse, loss of interest in having sex with you. This is what's often referred to as a dead bedroom. Now, there's an entire subreddit dedicated to this, and sadly, it's quite popular. If you visit it, you could see just how common this issue really is. Of course, most men blame it all on the women. What they're not taking into account is women don't typically initiate sex without being turned on or being led to it, or the man setting the stage by either turning her on or creating the moment. Yes, this is mostly on you fellas. So in this attraction tips video, I'm going to be discussing why women lose interest in sex and how you could turn that around to the point where she will never, or at least very rarely, make excuses on why she can't sleep with you tonight or any night. But if you guys need my personal help and you're interested in some private coaching, please head over to my website at soa.fm, click on the coaching tab, and there you'll see that I have several options for you to choose from. My coaching options include several phone coaching packages for my North American clients and several Zoom coaching packages for my clients outside North America. And I'll post the links to both my contact page and my coaching page in the description down below. Also, be sure to check out the new Skill of Attraction. I'm building an online community for men where they can get and give advice from other men on the topics of attracting women, relationships, and overall becoming a better, more confident man. It's free to register and you can remain relatively anonymous. It's still in the testing phases, so there is plenty more to come, but I'd love it if you guys began using it. Some of you already are using it and it's been great so far. So just head on over to soa.fm and start posting. Simple as that. Now, especially in long-term relationships, women eventually lose interest in sex, in many cases, but not all. And like I said, it's not so much they're not interested in sex, it's that they're not interested in sex with you. Women often chalk it up to having some sort of condition that has caused them to lose their libido or sex drive, because she still finds you physically attractive and you're still a good guy. I mean, sometimes you possess all the traits that she's always wanted. So it confuses her why she's not feeling the sexual attraction any longer. And this is usually due to you not exciting her on a psychological or emotional level any longer. When women are excited psychologically and emotionally, this is usually when they get turned on. Now, yes, of course, sometimes women will see a random hot guy and get aroused, but that's just pure physical attraction. And sometimes a lack of physical attraction to you is part of it, such as if, let's say, you let yourself go. Now, a lot of men get it in their head that because she's in a relationship or married to him, that sex will be a given anytime he wants. But as you can see, it's not. They're not like us where just the mere thought of sex has us ready to go. Women need to be warmed up. Where men are like flipping on a light switch, women are more like slowly turning up the dial. So in order to get her in the mood, it's more than just asking her if she wants to have sex tonight. Or worse, scheduling a night specifically for sex. I mean, you may still get sex, but it's not the same. You want her to not just sleep with you, but you want her to be passionate about it. Now, the best sex, as 𝕊𝕚𝕚𝕝𝕝 would call it, is validational sex, when she's screwing your brains out to win your approval and validation. This is typically the sex that you get early on in the relationship. Now, there are many reasons why a woman could lose sex or could lose interest in sleeping with you. But let's talk about some of the more common reasons. Now, one, your relationship lacks polarity. And what I mean by this is in order to have the passion and the sexual tension, you need to have a dynamic of masculine versus feminine polarity. What happens with many long-term couples is that the polarity slowly dissipates over time. And this is usually due to the man embracing more of his feminine energy than he does his masculine energy. How does this happen? Well, over time, she's chipping away at your masculine frame. And you're not leading anymore. Not only that, but you're allowing her to do it. And most likely to avoid conflict and thinking that if you just give her what she wants, she'll be happy. And I mean, what guy doesn't want his girl to be happy, right? Well, doing that is actually causing more harm than good. Now, there's more ways than that to lose the polarity, but that's one of the most common ways. And when the polarity begins to disappear, so does the sexual tension. You need chemistry and sexual tension in order for her to just want to rip your clothes off. That brings us to another reason, because polarity isn't the only reason, or not the only thing that leads to sexual tension. There's probably a good chance that you're not flirting with her anymore. Now think back to when you first began dating. You're flirting with each other all the time, playfully teasing each other, looking deep into each other's eyes and things of that nature. Most likely, you got a little complacent over time and you stopped doing those sort of things. I mean, you got the girl, right? What's the point in continuing with all that stuff? Well, your dead bedroom is the point. And if you're not flirting and teasing her any longer, then you're probably not dating her any longer either. Now, you cannot stop dating your girlfriend or wife no matter how long you've been together. Again, think back to when you first began dating and she fell in love with you. All the things that you were doing and saying is why she fell in love with you. I mean, that's what she signed up for when she got involved with you. But if you're not doing that stuff anymore, I mean, can you really blame her for losing interest? In her eyes, you're just not the same man any longer. I actually did a video a while back called "You Must Date Your Girlfriend or Wife." And again, it's one of my lower viewed videos. It's kind of funny in a way because some of my lowest viewed videos are some of the things men struggle with the most. Well, maybe I shouldn't say struggle, but they skip that part and then they run into problems down the line. Now, I've said it before, it's not all about just being a man, having a strong frame, being focused on your purpose and whatnot. I mean, yes, those are all very important things that you need for a happy, healthy life and relationship. But you also need the romantic side of all this. I mean, that's only if you want to keep her around long term. Now, I've coached men who took red pill teachings to an extreme level, or they were too alpha. Why do they need coaching? Because the girl left them for that very reason. So I highly recommend that you don't skip the softer, more romantic side of attraction. I'm not saying that you have to be all sappy. I mean, I would never recommend that. But women do love a little romance, especially if you're romantic at the beginning of the relationship. So continue taking her out on dates. And dates aren't just dinner at a nice restaurant. While those are nice at times, you want to mix it up a bit, mostly focusing on just having fun with each other and with a little dash of romance. Those kinds of dates are most memorable and stay with her long term. Now, another reason your girlfriend or wife has lost interest in sex is because you're not doing all the foreplay. Now, when I say foreplay, I'm not talking about going down on her before having sex. I mean, yes, most women love that, and it certainly helps them enjoy sex overall. But what I'm talking about is turning her on throughout the day. Now, you do this, of course, with a little flirting, but also by touching her occasionally. As an example, say she's making dinner for the two of you, and you walk up behind her and wrap your arms around her from behind. Or you're sitting next to each other and you're talking and laughing and you put your hand on, let's say, her knee. I mean, there are all different ways that you could do this, but touching her is going to arouse her at least a little. I mean, it's part of it. It's part of warming her up. The other day, a guy was asking me about getting his girlfriend in the mood. And they hadn't been having sex for quite a while. And one of the things that I suggested to him was that he plant the idea of sex into her head during the day. I suggested that he send her a text telling her what he's going to do to her when he gets home. And I told him to be very descriptive, but not crude. You know, make it sexy. And you know what? She was completely ready and waiting for him to get home from work. And they had a hell of a night. So you want to lightly sexualize the conversation once in a while. Throw in a few sexual innuendos here and there. Women, they love sex just as much as we do, but the difference is they're not obsessing about it throughout the day the way we are. So you want to put the idea of sex into her head and get her to visualize having sex with you. And you want to try different things, not just the text idea I suggested, because you're going to have to mix it up and not do the same thing every time, or she's going to get bored. It's also a good idea to work on some of your foundational attractiveness. This is things like getting in shape, maybe get a new haircut, get a new wardrobe, and so on. It also means to work on finding your own happiness. So maybe go take a class, perhaps start meditating. Pursue your passions and hobbies. You may think that this has nothing to do with it, but it actually helps quite a bit. Because of it, you're not as available, and it creates a little mystery between the two of you. Plus, you'll be happier and feel more fulfilled, and that's attractive. Now, one of the reasons women lose interest in sex with you is also because they know that they have you. You're far too available. So there's no urgency or drive for her to win your heart. She knows that you're not going anywhere, especially if you're married. She knows that if she wants sex and snaps her fingers, you'll come running, panting like a dog. She essentially has you wrapped around her finger. You have her on a pedestal and you're afraid to lose her. And having that attitude causes you to have a very unattractive vibe about you. When a woman marries you or moves in with you, the chase is over for her. When you were just dating, she would screw your brains out partly as a way to keep your interest and to earn your validation, whether she realizes it consciously or not. Now she experiences no competition anxiety any longer. There's no threat of another woman stealing you away. And that was part of the challenge and the excitement for her. So building your foundational attraction will certainly help with this, because it could cause a very light form of dread. Dread that you may be doing this for another woman. And she'll wonder why the sudden change if you're not already doing this stuff. It also can't hurt to flirt a bit with other women who you come across or who you come in contact with throughout the day, whether your girl's with you or not. This will communicate that you have options to both her and to yourself, and your value just goes up in her eyes. Just be sure that you don't flirt with just the hot ones, because that's just going to cause problems. You want to flirt with all women the same. So, a quick recap: man up, embrace your masculinity. Don't seek her approval, and don't roll over and give her everything she wants. Learn to tell her no once in a while. Let a little sexual tension build, even if it does cause a little conflict. Flirt and tease her playfully. Make her feel feminine again. Build more sexual tension. Lovingly touch her here and there throughout the day. Maybe give her a little pat on the butt or something. Whisper in her ear what you want to do to her, and make her feel sexy and desired. Have fun together and take her out on dates. And don't be so available to her, and go pursue some of your passions. Flirt a bit with other women, but without crossing the line, of course. And finally, make yourself more physically attractive. Oh, and I should throw in, just because it can't be said enough, do not beg for sex. Don't even overtly ask for it. Instead, take the lead and create the moment to where she can't say no, where she won't want to say no. And when you do get her into bed, don't always do the same routines. Mix it up a bit and try some new things. Just let your passion, love, and attraction come out untethered. Women really love that. So, if you found this video helpful, or any of my videos helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, if you would share it with any of your friends and family. I would also really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and tick that little bell symbol next to it, so you get real-time notifications of when I upload new videos. In the description down below, not only will I have a link to both my contact page and my coaching page, but I also have numerous offers or links to attraction-related programs that may interest you. But I also have a link to PayPal, or my Bitcoin wallet address, if you deem this video worthy of a donation, or super thanks. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.